You lived all of your life in the city and never imagined leaving. You grew up, made childhood friends, and went to college. Life went exactly as everybody says it should. You graduate with a mountain of debt, congratulations, and begin life as a full-fledged working adult. You worked hard, so you were lucky enough to get your dream job. This is me right after I graduated. Look at how happy and innocent I looked. Right before I got hired, I was getting my life in order, I was getting my health in order, I was exercising and losing a whole bunch of weight. At first, it's everything you ever wanted. But the more time passes, life gets a little bit grayer. You wake up every day exhausted from dealing with your nightmare bosses and the psycho mean girl mind games. Immediately after I get hired, I puffed up because I was stressed and eating my feelings. I didn't realize this, but I also aged very rapidly in the first 2 years of working. Looking back, I thought it was the time of my life. I thought I was so happy, but all I feel when looking back at those pictures is how stressed I actually was and how unhappy I was, and you can kind of see it in my weight gain. I slowly become less and less of a happy person, even in photographs. You can tell I'm just trying to smile. You go to your dream job, which turns out was nothing like the dream job school and the media sold to you. But you go through the motions because we all gotta live somehow, right? The gas prices are getting higher, so is rent, and it just seems like it's expensive to just stand around and breathe in California. And you think to yourself, is this it? Is this all there is to life? For me, I decided no. There's more to life than sitting in a cubicle all day wishing I was anywhere else. There were so many things I still wanted to do that I couldn't because all of my time was being soaked up by work. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing why I'm leaving California, specifically the city, and moving to a cabin in the woods in Prescott, Arizona. When I was younger, I was told I had to go to a good school and get a job in a good career, because obviously having money and status was the only way to happiness. I got those things and I was still unfulfilled. And looking back, how would the adults in my life know? It's not like they looked very happy. So I reassessed. Many might call it a quarter-life millennial crisis. I quit my not-so-dream job to become a full-time content creator. This meant I didn't have to live in LA anymore. That was a huge reason why I never thought I would leave California, because my entire career was Hollywood. After the pandemic and the rise of remote work, it meant Vincent didn't have to be in LA either. This was it. I was finally brave enough to give myself the opportunity to go travel and live in faraway places. This is something I always wanted to do, but I gave up because my career was that important to me. Initially, I thought I was going to move to Dallas, Texas. After visiting, I realized, yes, it's a beautiful place to visit. It's just not my cup of tea. It reminded me a little bit too much of LA. If I wanted to move to a city that reminded me of LA, I might as well just stay in LA. So we visited Las Vegas, which was way too boring, even though you'd think it's the city of sin. Actually very boring. We visited the forests of Lake Arrowhead, which Vincent hated because he doesn't like forests, but he did really like the solitude of the desert of Joshua Tree. Still California though, so not really a place we wanted to move to, but at least we narrowed down an environment. And then we visited Phoenix, Arizona. We actually visited Phoenix many years before when we were selling our art at conventions, and we already knew that we really liked it. This time around though, there was something missing. We realized I'm not sure we want to be in a big city. That was a problem with Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Dallas. We just didn't want to be packed in a city full of people. But we couldn't see any other option for us, so we almost settled down in the suburban area of Phoenix. But as luck would have it, at the very last minute, we heard about a little town called Prescott, about 2 hours north of Phoenix. We booked the trip right after it had snowed because we wanted to know, as Californians, is the snow too much? It turns out it was beautiful. The snowy weather is really mild. It is not cold whatsoever, especially once you get used to it. Let's just say it was so mild, it did not scare off a native Californian. The temperature reminded me of LA beach weather, pretty much in the 70s, practically all year round, unlike the scorching hot temps of Phoenix. It also has a vibrant arts community. It's a pretty big music town. Practically every single Friday and Saturday night, there's live music playing in Whiskey Row in many different venues. There's plenty of galleries full of paintings depicting the beautiful Arizona scenery. It has a rural, small town vibe with the benefits of all the amenities of a big city like Walmart and Target. We fell in love with the city pretty much right away, so we started house hunting. Because Vincent still works for the studios in California, we chose Arizona because the state has reciprocity with California, meaning we can be taxed at the Arizona state income tax rate rather than the California state income tax rate, meaning it'll cut our taxes by about 25%. The property taxes here are also about half of the area we were living in California. So because the property taxes are cheaper and the home prices are cheaper, we're going to be paying less than half of the amount of taxes we were paying. And let's talk about home prices. In Prescott Valley, you can get a 3-bed, 2-bath house for around $400,000. In the Prescott area, it ranges between $400 to $500 on average. This to me is really, really affordable coming from California, where your average price of a 3-bed, 2-bath house is basically $1 million. As a young millennial, this is amazing. I can actually afford a house. Compared to California, I will be in debt forever. But I know the local Prescottians are going to get very mad at me because they blame Californians coming in, driving up the cost of homes. But in my opinion, it's more to do with inflation right now. It seems like inflation affects these smaller, more rural towns a lot more than the big cities. Don't get me wrong, $6-7 gas in California is a nightmare. But compared to literally $2 gas from a few years ago to almost $5 gas now, that's almost double. We toured a bunch of homes and we realized I don't like new construction homes. Most of them in Prescott Valley. There's just a bunch of Mick homes. There's no character and not exactly a place I would want to settle down forever. But when we started touring a lot of the homes in the Prescott zip code area, I was so in love with the more cabin-y style look of them. Some homes are really historic and Victorian looking, whereas some homes look very mid-century modern. And they literally are from the mid-century, from the 60s and 70s. And on top of that, you can buy acreage. You can have a lot of land surrounding you, separating you from your neighbors so that nobody gets in your hair. Perfect for me who just wants to live in seclusion and create my own homestead. You're surrounded by natures and hiking trails, and it's just a really beautiful town that anybody would love to settle down in. The cons are it's definitely a slower paced town. And that's perfect for me because I just want to learn how to garden, do a bunch of home improvement, and generally slow down. It's not like I'm looking to date anytime soon. That's probably why most of the people here are retired. So if you're a young person who needs the hustle and bustle of a city, probably not good for you. Every Arizonian I've talked to has described Prescott as the place where my grandma lives, which, since I am an old lady at heart, exactly what I need. Also, ever since moving here, I've gotten a lot of passive-aggressive comments from local Prescottians, generally people who have lived here all their life and hate that Californians are moving in. But it's the kind of passive aggressiveness like when your grandpa nags you a little for being a
good for nothing and you're too lazy to work. Oh,
old man yelling at cloud. It's really not that intimidating. I've heard worse from my Asian family members and the hate comments. But I do think it's sad that the media has manipulated and polarized people to this point, because a few years ago when I was visiting, it wasn't like this at all. There's a lot of hate in the world these days. It's nothing I'm not used to though, because it's not like I didn't get the exact same type of passive aggressiveness in Californians, but on the opposite side of the political spectrum. I just want to live a good life and be left alone. Is that a crime? Apparently it is if you're Californian. But to be honest, I felt this kind of hostility as a Californian traveling anywhere right now in the country. I think that's what you would have to expect moving anywhere as a Californian. Another con, if you are a city person moving to a more rural area, there are a lot of critters here. I literally saw a family of maybe 5 deer on my property.
Holy shit, whoa, holy shit. Fucking deer, dude. What the fuck? It's a deer. Oh shit.
It was kind of magical and amazing. But there are also coyotes and javelinas, which apparently will attack you on sight. And your dog. which is terrifying. Mountain lions and lots of bugs like scorpions and potentially the wolf spider, which I hope I never meet one because I'm not that bad with spiders. The size of that thing though, I'm going to need to grow a pair because I don't know how to deal with that. So after many months of searching and waiting, I finally found my home base. In my upcoming videos, I'm going to reveal my empty home tour and I will take you along with me as I do a bunch of home improvement stuff to turn this place into my dream home. So make sure to like and subscribe.